What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here at JGilbo11, taking a look at some stacking options for tonight's six-game slate. Not a ton of stacking options, but we'll get to a couple teams here I do like. First things first, Rays and Yankees, Luis Severino versus Matt Andres. As far as stacking in this game goes, Rays, definitely have some lefties that you can get exposure to. Dickerson, Kiermaier, Brad Miller. Severino is worse off against righties than he is lefties, but Yankee Stadium always creates some power threat for some of these lefty bats. They do strike out a ton. I kind of see both these teams maybe just more one-offs than a full stack. Andres isn't a guy that really is going to get blown up to the point where he's just going to allow the front 4 or 5 to just really go off. Greg Bird back in the lineup potentially tonight. I think that adds a little bit to it. Ellsbury hitting leadoff now. Gardner is out. Still stackable. I think the Yankees are probably the most stackable team of this game. I wouldn't mind it if you're throwing in multiple lineups, but it's definitely not my favorite. Like I said, the Rays are just more of a one-off potential. Baltimore, Toronto, Kevin Gausman versus Francisco Liriano. Baltimore obviously coming off the big outing against Stephen Wright. Baltimore's been a tricky team to kind of figure out as far as stacks go. You do look at Liriano, I mean, since last year, 346 WOBA to righties, 1.57 home runs per 9, 35.3% hard contact rate. Ground ball rate still fairly solid. I'm not against stacking the Orioles tonight. I mean, I know the run total is certainly low, but it's right around 4, which isn't really great for stacking. But guys like Machado, Jones, Trumbo all have reasonable prices outside of Machado, who's expensive. And we kind of saw the back half of the lineup really pay off as well against Wright. I mean, that's really where the majority of the stack came from. Trey Mancini, Wellington Castillo, Jonathan Scope, those are all options that were, there is some upside. I mean, Castillo and Mancini have really showed the ability to lefty Castillo, over the longer run. So I don't mind it. I think you can get kind of creative with the Baltimore stack, definitely a contrarian move on tonight's slate if you do want to mix in some of those bottom guys. So I'm okay with that against Liriano, who is really one of those guys who's just completely all over the place. As far as Toronto, I mean, eventually they're going to hit at some point. This is a team that's really off to a bad start. I think people are going to just be off of them more and more as the season goes on if they keep hitting like this. The one thing to note about Gausman, 346 WOBA to righties, 1.51 home runs per 9. Doesn't give up a ton of hard contact, though, 28.6%. Once again, it's just another one of those, I can see a Toronto stack paying off. Is it my favorite? Probably not. I think it's more one-offs here. I think Josh Donaldson comes in as a premier play tonight, but I think Gausman's a guy who does limit damage fairly well. It's nothing more than a GPP stack, and once again, it's, we'll get to my favorite couple stacks here. It's not these. Mets and Marlins, Robert Sullivan versus Wang Chen. I don't have any real interest as far as stacking goes. It's a bad ballpark to stack in. And Sullivan's not a guy who's going to get completely blown up. Chen, is more of a one-off guy with like Cespedes or Wilmer Flores. So no stacks here really worth mentioning. Next one, though, Milwaukee and Cincinnati in Great American Ballpark. Bronson Arroyo, I mean, last start before his 2017 one against St. Louis, June 15th of 2014. Over his sample size, we're looking at Arroyo's number. We'll go back to 2012 just to get a decent sample size here. 341 WOBA to lefties. That helps guys like Villar, Thames, Travis Shaw, and, tossing in Ryan Braun in the middle there. Definitely not a bad stack to look at tonight. So I am certainly intrigued. We look at these strikeout rates. I mean, Jesus, they're high. Villar's at 40%. Thames is up there. Braun's up there against right-handed pitching. Travis Shaw is reasonable, but still high. But you look at Bronson Arroyo. This is a guy who doesn't miss bats. Still on the poor home runs per 9 side of things in this ballpark. I mean, I think you can really fire away with Milwaukee. So I'm certainly fine with using a stack there. They do come as one of my favorite stacks tonight. A little bit boomer bust, you definitely can say, but given the fact that Arroyo doesn't miss bats, I do like Milwaukee quite a bit here, especially in this ballpark. On the other side of things, I mean, Jimmy Nelson's a guy who's just very up and down. I mean, it's hard to really get a hold on what he can do. We saw him great in his last start against the Cubs. But, we look at last year, I mean, over a 340 WOBA to both sides of the plate, a lot of 364 WOBA on the road, long ball rate to lefties. I mean, was a bit of an issue, 37%. I mean, he's always kind of struggled with left-handers. But an inconsistent guy. I mean, the Reds offense is cruising right now. So guys like Joey Votto, Adam Duvall, I mean, the power's there. Billy Hamilton, Jose Peraza, I mean, the upside, I mean, they've been kind of nearly identical to start the season as far as like hard contact is in the single digits. You know, they're getting on base, couple stolen bases so far for each of them. You know, definitely not bad guys at their prices. They're putting the ball in play right now. So you do like that. I definitely think the Reds are a viable stack. And the way they're starting off, I mean, Duvall obviously not going to hit 400, but the home run potential is certainly there, given he has a 200 ISO over, you know, the last year and a half, so against right-handed pitching. So definitely okay with using these guys. Definitely a good ballpark to get a stack in. Oakland and Kansas City, Jason Vargas versus Jesse Hahn. We'll start with the A side of things here first. It looks like they're going to be Marcus Semien, Rajai Davis, Ryan Healy, Chris Davis to start the lineup. Against Vargas, who is just kind of a league average lefty. Over his career, I mean, 324 WOBA to righties, 1.21 home runs per 9, 16% strikeout rate. I mean, this guy doesn't really miss bats. I like the A's here. It's definitely not the great ballpark to get stacks in just because the home run potential is really low. But I do like these guys quite a bit. I mean, we saw Oakland put up a couple of runs, and the Royals bullpen is just not what it used to be. I mean, we're getting some rough, long relievers coming in. You're not getting great guys really in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. So I'm certainly okay with an Oakland stack. I mean, Vegas really isn't on board with them, but the run total has come up just a little bit, which is nice to see as the day goes on. And you just look at some of these guys. I mean, Healy in his career, 367 WOBA off lefties. Davis, 352, 264 ISO. Davis, I mean, this is a guy who's been on and off against lefties in his career, but overall 340. Marcus Semien, 201 ISO against lefties last year. Definitely has some pop. You know, so I do like these guys here, all at a reasonable price. So this does come in at a value stack. If you're looking to stack a team and still get Bumgarner in there, but still able to work in some one-offs from some popular teams, the A's kind of fit the bill there. And as far as Royals go, I mean, I usually don't like to stack Royals, but I actually don't mind them tonight, given the fact that they're going to bring 3 or 4 lefties to the table in the beginning. You look at Hahn, struggled against lefties, gives up a crazy high hard contact rate nearing about 38%. You know, Hosmer, Moustakas definitely are better lefties in this team. Alex Gordon, if he can come around this matchup, I don't mind him. Usually like to target Lorenzo Cain against, you know, left-handed pitching, but he does kind of fit the stack there. So I'm okay with throwing him in if he's hitting third again, which he should be. I mean, Royals 4.8 run total there tonight, so it's not like Vegas is expecting to lay a dud. So I'm certainly okay with using them as a stack. It won't be often for me that I do, though. Colorado, San Francisco, no thanks to stacks in this one. Madison Bumgarner, Giant Gray, the lowest total on the night for both teams here. You can easily kind of pass on this one as far as hitters go in the stacking department. So it's going to wrap things up here. You can head on over to DailyFantasyCafe.com, check out our great tools and content.